Alright, now that I actually have a stream link and it actually shows that it's live. Just putting in the chat 1 second. Alright, there's the tag, so that's all sorted. That's beautiful. We're in a good position. We're slowly but surely getting guys in here that should actually be in here. Starting to be a good time. Arctic Squirrel needs an invite. He's trying to get through. He's trying to get to as many people as humanly possible when this game actually decides to function for more than 3 seconds. Pretty sure I've got a bunch of these as friends, just not showing up for some reason. There's Arctic Squirrel. Alright. I'm also going to go through and see if I can add everybody. Already got him, already got Yarlow, and Lucky. Just going to come up repeatedly down the bottom left of my screen. I've just sent everybody an EA friend request. Still missing 3 people. I'm not sure who needs it, who should be here that isn't here. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find who it is that actually needs to be in here. So Stel and Nikita. Nikita's not here. Need to get a hold of Nikita then. Nikita is in. Massa is in. Both Ed and Yalo both in. In the house. Blood Wave. It's been a while since you saw this on the homepage. Oh, it's been a while. Beautiful. Nice to see that YouTube decides to push it out sometimes. Just trying to figure out who is and isn't joining at the moment. Oh, it's been a while indeed. I remember that profile picture. I do believe that's Daxi. That has been a while, hasn't it? And for it, let's have a look. So we still don't have Bloodwave. Bloodwave, can he do it? Just trying to figure out who is and isn't here. So Nikita is Bloodwave. Wicked's just joined us, which does actually mean that would be the whole 20. Let's see if I can find what's happened to Bloodwave. All right. That should be everyone. So then we should be getting into the race sooner rather than later. So it's week 3. We'll see what is going to happen here then. Last week was won very handsomely in the end by Boba. Boba and Nikita are on the same amount of points. Boba is racing today, Nikita is not. Chance to open up the championship lead here then for the Ukrainian driver in the Haas. So see if he can actually manage to do it. On 19. All right. We should be getting going sooner rather than later. No, someone backed out. What are you doing? It should be starting soon. It should be starting any minute. Right. It looks like we might be going in a split second here then. So it's just getting people into the lobby. It was meant to start 8 o'clock. So we are running a little bit behind schedule. Apologies for that. All right. Has Mike learned how to drive yet? We're about to find out because I haven't actually watched Mike drive so far this season. So he could have. I doubt it. If I'm completely honest with you, don't forget this is equal performances off, so he's been put in the worst car in the best car of the game. That's never usually a good sign. Someone complaining that we're starting 9 minutes late. All right, short qualifying it is. So we're getting ready to go now then. Should just load up and then we'll get onto the grid. I'm going to very quickly put the YouTube stream up on my phone as I can. That way I can see all the comments that we currently have going on the stream. Hello. Is that? I recognize that picture as well. Is that a... beer? Yeah, it's Caesar. I was about to say Caesar. I was about to say it. I just didn't want to make myself look like a fool. I almost pulled that one out of my ass. Almost. I don't know if people could hear me stop myself on the way through that. It is, yes. It is the Mercurial. But yes, yeah, we're getting ready to go now then. I will take that off the side of the grid. We'll get to see who the first car out. And by the looks, I think that is going to be Mike. Is the sound quality alright for everyone at the moment then? Just so before we get started too in depth into this stream. Hope the sound quality is good for everyone. It looks like EKG is the first one out. I'm not sure why it's not letting me watch him. Daxi and Caesar in the same chat here. What's this, 2023? Alright. MCSC then on the track in the Aston Martin. So I don't know if it's every week or every second week, the allocations get updated. So these are the new allocations. You'll see some people driving a different car to what they drove last week. For example, there's no longer Williams for Boba. It's the Haas. With a couple of guys in different cars. Yallow's is in the Haas as well, so those two joined together. Zemu in the medium, in the Alpine. Makuza's very much stayed in the racing bull, so he's just kind of stifling across at the moment. Same for Mazda Crater, those two seem to be tied to that racing bull team. But yeah, new names on the grid for me. Well, new names in a sense. New names to the season being Wicked Profit. From don't forget this is only my second one of the season. Missed the first week. AJ14. Also new name on the grid for me. It will be, I have commentated on him before. Zamiku in the Red Bull. Also new name. Same with Negan. And the Frosty One, who's in the Williams there. New names all together. Actually, oh, it looked like MCSC invalidated his lap. He's got another Aston Martin coming on through, so we'll go to on board with Chris then. He goes through into the beginning of the final sector. The Aston Martin gets out of its way, just a little bit edgy on the exit of the corner there. Corner a little bit, car a little bit oversteery rather. The back end turning out on the Aston Martin. We'll see if that continues to be a trend. Alpine 02 coming down the hill as well into the third sector, and a Haas about to set their first lap. But the first lap of the day is an 18.4, so that's the first benchmark. Who is going to be the next one up? The answer is Yarlo, 17.2. 17.2 then. Is there going to be anyone to beat that? 18.1 for Negan. Zemu after that, 17, 18, 18.6 is the slowest of the bunch so far. Mighty 19.4, Janika 18.8, Zamiku 17.5 in the Red Bull. Pretty good run from there. We're going to go to the Ferrari. Actually, we're not going to go to the Ferrari because he's invalidated his lap. We'll go to Stell behind him. It looks like a 17.1 there for Massacrator, currently the fastest in the lobby, and the Racing Bull down the line we go. Stell, 16.9. For reference, this is unequal cars, so the idea is that we have put the slower drivers. I'm just going to start from the beginning here. This is a tier 1 from last season and a tier 2 mashed together, essentially, because we ran, the numbers are not particularly high. To combat that, we decided to make it unequal cars. Therefore, the guys in tier 2, the slower guys, or considered slower guys, are in the faster cars to try and balance it out as much as we can. That's the idea. So if they are in the faster cars, just know it is supposed to be slower guys in them. So whilst we can try and level it out, we can only do so much. To score 20.6. Boba with a 16.907, so by 0.037 takes pole position up till now. Everyone just starting to head back into the pits. There's a racing bull that's about to go over the line. That's Massacre, but he's down on his lap right now. Stell is heading into the pits. What about the Ferrari? Mike into the pits. Mighty is not. 22 seconds down and not a lot of battery left to be put in here. 40% is going to be a rough watch for Mighty on this lap. Merck, I think, has just headed into the pits. Yep, same with the Haas driver, who currently leads technically leads the championship in a joint manner, but is about to take the lead of the championship if things continue like this. Yarlo about to go to the line. I don't know if that's going to be an improvement for Yarlo. It is going to be an improvement for Yarlo, and he's the third person in a 16.9. Nakuta, 16.5. Wow. Okay, was not quite expecting that. Was not quite expecting that. Lucky I won. 17.6 puts him up into 7th. Mighty is currently out on track. A couple of more people have just pit, so he will go back to Mighty. Mike, after that, will go on an out lap, and we'll watch his lap through. Oh, no, he won't. Oh, Mighty tried, I think, potentially to the pit, so either lost control of the car. I'm not sure which one it was. That is an unfortunate miss on the final corner, and that'll do so much level of damage. Mike is now on the lap. Stella's into the pits. 3.5 tenth gap at the front now. Got a McLaren at the end of the lap, which is AJ14 about to warm up for his first shot of the night. And the Haas after that is Yarlo, who is now heading into the pits. We got a Racing Bull after that. Can only assume it's Nakuta, who's also headed into the pits now with a Red Bull directly behind that, which is the Red Bull of Wicked Prophet. He just starts his flying lap. We'll stick with Mike for now, and we'll go back afterwards. In terms of people out on the track, Mike is on the track in front of Mike at the moment. Not sure we'll see too much from Mighty above that 19.4 the way he's currently driving. The Merc getting out of the way. Not sure which Merc that is, the one coming through the end of the first sector up to this point. We also got an Aston Martin out there as well, which is Chris, actually, who's just about to start his lap. We'll go to him in a split second then. Actually, we'll go to Wicked next. I think he is the next one to the line, or is it AJ? It might be AJ. No, it is AJ. Let's have a look at AJ then. Janika is the McLaren in front, which is about to go on a fast lap. So we'll stick with AJ for now then. Merc, and then there's a Merc after that. So that's Arctic Squirrel trying to go through his laps at the moment. He's going to get started in a split second. 18.4 for AJ puts him in 10th. Not that far behind the Aston Martin behind him. Arctic just started his lap. We'll go to Wicked Prophet then, who's actually invalidated his lap, so we'll not stay with him. That didn't look good. Into the pits he goes. Which one is about to start the lap here then? We'll go and stick with Boba for a second here. Massacre is about to start his lap as well. I also assume that is going to be Zemu there on a 17.8, up into 8th. Good jump for him. Into the top 10. He'll take that every day. I think it's Tichy afterwards. Tichy on the track as well, and may have just been impeded on the way through. We'll see what Tichy has to give around the final corner. Down to the line, 18.85, good enough for 13th. Have a look. The McLarens after that. Janika up in a 6th. What a lap! after being absolutely nowhere last week in the at the circuit of the Americas, he is flying up in 6th right now. Yolo's on an outlap. Boba is not. Boba is currently 0.2 of a second up. He needs to find another half-tenth to beat Nakuta to try and get provisional pole at the very least with 7 minutes to go around the final corner. Goes the Ukrainian, trying to beat his compatriot. Does! 16-4. And the two Ukrainians are locking out the front row. So you want to see with the Mercs at the moment, there's Tichy going around the final couple of corners. He's invalidated the lap. MCFC going on a lap so far, half a second up. That would put him up into the top 10. If he can find another 0.3 of a second potentially in this final sector, he can jump himself up to the top, into that bracket between 6th and 9th. We'll wait and see if he can. Merc into the pits then. That is Tichy's lap done. I think that might be Wicked behind. Wicked. Actually, no, it's not Wicked. I think it was Stell who just finished his lap. MCFC 17.5, good enough for 7th. Stell 16.5, 7 3 thousandths of a second quicker than Nakuta. So there is a fight back there from Stell then. And Yolo might be about to add to it. 0.3, 16.6. And the top 4 relatively close now. I wonder what Massacre has got in the tank to try and push himself toward that top 4. He's currently the bridge between the top 4 and the rest of the grid. Lucky High One just started his lap. We'll go and have a look in a split second. Massacre currently on his lap though. Round to the line. 16, 17, 0. And that is still good enough for 5th, but not really bridging the gap by any means. Yeah, no, Hungary is a very difficult track to overtake, definitely. The differences in cars, however, will probably make it a little bit easier on the guys at the back to try and make their way through. Let's have a look. So it is Wicked Prophet just started, so the other one is the Red Bull pulling into the pits of Zamiku then. NCFC should be into the pits. Stell going to follow him in. I wonder which car that is at the front. It is the Frosty one. Okay, so we've not seen him at all in ALR. Not that I'm aware of anyway. We'll see what he has to bring to the table here. Couple of drivers coming to the end. We are going to stick with the Frosty one though. We'll see what people can do as they cross the line. I think Lucky High One just did a 17-1. 17-1 then for Lucky High One, puts him into 6th. Keep an eye out, see if anyone else has gone for quicker as we go along. Pit lane's just starting to get a bit full. Ferrari's in 17th and 18th at the moment. Looks like someone just did a lap there. I'm not sure who it was. It was Wicked Prophet up into the 18 zeros. That takes him to the 11th place. I'll go through the calendar after qualifying is finished because it's a Christmas break after this race. Because obviously next race would be on Christmas Day if we did it week to week, and I don't think people would like that very much. Frosty one to the line then. 17, 18, 3. Good enough for 13th at the moment then. Negan, I think, is the next one up. That puts him about half a second quicker than his current lap. That puts him into the 76 as that challenges in the top 10. Is there going to be any chance for him to gain a little bit more than that? Maybe into the top 8, top 7. If he can push it just a little bit harder to the line. 16, 17, 17, 5. It's good enough for 8th. Okay. A little bit of competition, 8 through 10 then. To look at the next group at the line. It's going to be Mighty Chump next. Is this a pit stop or is this going to the end? They're going to, well, round the final corner. We got yellow flag like they're going out of fashion. prefer to actually know what time there's left in the session. Mighty Trump is slower. 3 minutes left. McLaren to the line next is AJ. AJ up into 11th. Another one in the 17.5s. A 4-5 car group separated by a 1/10 of a second here. Not even that. He's going to get out of the way of the Aston Martin. Is Chris going through turn 1. There's a Red Bull there as well, which I think has to be Zamiku. Yeah, it is Zamiku, as Wicked is in the pits. Ferrari next to the line then is Mike, but he's on an outlap, so he's just starting a flying one. I think that's Pazemu next to the line then. Continue on, and then the two Megs. That's Titchy Boom and Artist Squirrel in tow. Mike is currently getting charged down just a little bit here by Chris. And he actually lets him go, I think. I think Mike has just let people go, so he's just abandoning his lap then. One of the other Aston Martin is about to get caught up. We'll see how that's going to work out. Another 4/10 of a second coming off the board for Chris at the moment. That'll take him into the 17s if he can just fashion a little bit more time. His own teammate! Oh, and he's round! The Aston Martins have screwed each other! The Aston Martins have just royally screwed each other! Zamiku to the line's invalidated lap. There's an Aston Martin behind him. That's MCSC who just got blatantly in the way and is going to get in trouble for impeding. I would be a little bit annoyed if I was Chris right now, I'll say that much. Very, very clear impeding at that. The Aston Martin's still not on the track properly yet. So Tichy around the final corner here then. It looks like a 17-4 for Tichy. That's good enough for Abe. What is Arctic Squirrel going to do? Only a 19-0. Not good enough for him to get anything other than 17th. So he'll start towards the back then. Do run out of time on this qualifying session pretty much. Janika just started his lap. Negan has retired from the session inside the top 10 for now, but not improving. I think there's a racing ball to the line then. It is Massacrator out on the outlap right now, but it is Nakuta behind him, who looks to try and set himself up for pole position. He's currently up at 10th. That is Stella in front of him as well, but Stella's on an outlap. As we go toward the end of the session, Nakuta, to improve, doesn't get it. Doesn't get it at all. That'll be problems for him. Zimiku again invalidating his lap. The Ferrari going over the line is Mighty, as he does not improve either. The Williams after that. Again, not really doing an awful lot, I don't think, with Lucky High one there. The Ferrari after that is Mike. Is there an improvement there? Doesn't look like he's a second down already. So yeah, there's nothing going in that one. And then the next one after that is a Mercedes. So that'll be Tichy Boom, but his last lap was his best lap. So we will see which horse it is. Coming to the line now, it is Yarlo, who's up 2 tenths, and Yarlo's on provisional pole. We still have a couple going round. One of them being Boba, who's up 2 tenths right now. That would be enough to steal it back from the Haas compatriot here. Boba, 16-1, and he's blown it out the park. Massacre to the line, 16-4 is good enough for third. Then it's Stell, who's up a 10.5. A 10.5, only good enough to get to Yellow, not to Boba. 16-3 is good enough for the front row. Unless someone's pulling a rabbit out their hat here, to be honest with you. Nakuza's qualifying is ran. Zamiku into the pit, so next one up is Wicked Prophet then to see if he can get himself close enough, but he's already on 125, so that's not going to happen. Mighty is trying to do a lap, but he isn't improving either. I think that probably is going to be game, set, match then. Lucky High 1-5 plays penalty for illegal blocking, but just don't do it. It's just stupid. Even if Mike is on a fastest lap there, not sure why you would even put yourself in that position when the lights have gone on a checkered flag. Nonetheless, that will be the end of qualifying then. Lucky High won with his penalty from the game. Will start in 11th. Is it starting 11th? No, you're starting 12th. D'Amico through Janika will all gain a position in the process. Both Alpines qualifying in the top 10 as a result then. Ferrari's at the back. But Haas 1-3, Red Bull Racing Bull 4-5. The orange one is the Gulf liveried Williams. Massacre is starting in 4th then. So, it'll be a very interesting race, this one. Boba from Stell, front row, is going to be an absolute barnstorm. And then you got Yarlo and Massacre as well. Nakuza, that top 5 being within 4/10 of a second, is going to be very interesting. Going further down the grid, you've got High One and Lucky High One, who's got the 5th-place grid penalty, will be looking to recover that early. MCSC, not really got the pace to match the top 5, but looking to be best of the rest. Then Janika, looking to just build on what he had last week. Didn't have the greatest of days last week, admittedly. See if that is to improve then. And someone's just been, Lucky High One's a little bit annoyed at the penalty he received. Stel Rappers. Oh, here we go. Formation lap then. All right, let's go then with the formation lap. Let's see what tires everyone else is on then. I was just trying to talk through what is going on here then. Boba from Stel, from Yarlo, from Massacre in the front 4, all on the medium tyres. Then you've got Nakuza and MCFC on the hards. Then Janika and Tichy on the medium 7th and 8th. Prezimu on the hards in 9th. Then 10th through 13th. Negan, Zamiku, Lucky High One and AJ14, all of them on the medium tyres. And we got Wicked in 14th on the hards, Frosty One and Chris on the mediums in 15th and 16th, Bartic Squirrel in 17th, with Mike and Mighty on the mediums at the back of the grid. All right, here we go, up to the grid then. Looks like Boba's got on perfectly fine. We'll look at the grid here with Stel. Can he get himself in without crossing that line? He looks like he has. Massacre has not. Massacre jumps it straight away, gets disqualified from the formation lap. We'll watch with Nakuza, who's in his grid spot, and MCFC is taking the long route up to his grid box. Gets himself stopped. Janika, everyone is currently in. Jamika got himself disqualified. Lucky High One got himself disqualified from the from the formation lap. For those who are wondering, getting disqualified from the formation lap will just set you on colder tyres and further back in your grid box. Looks like everyone else has got in perfectly fine. We go through. That's a lot of... What is going on? 5 red lights! It lights out! Away we go in the glitchiest red lights I think I've ever seen! We go round into turn 1. That was an absolute nightmare. And it looks like Stale has taken the lead straight away. Boba in the long way round at turn 1, trying to hang on, but doesn't. As Dell takes the lead, Massacre is trying to get the inside line on Yarlo. Yarlo will follow the inside line into turn 3. They've come together just a little bit. But Massacre will hang on for now. Still with the inside line through 4 and now 5. Up the hill we go. That Racing Bull should have that position and has got that position. Massacre up in the 3rd, Yarlo in 4th. Nakuta in 5th, Janika in 6th. A good start from Janika. Tichy in 7th. D'Amico in 8th. Lucky High One up 3 places already off the start of the race. MCFC, not the greatest start in the world. Started 6th, is now 11th. Chris off to the back of the grid as well. Not great for him. We'll see if there's going to be anything that sticks at the moment. Dell now back behind Boba, as Boba is just trying to keep him secure. Well, just trying to give himself a gap now. Just trying to see if that Haas can get himself as much of an advantage as humanly possible. As we go through the end of the first lap, Janika is already outside of DRS range of the top 5. So we are going to have almost 2 separate races within each other here. Mighty's got damage, presumably. That's the only reason why you'd pit on lap 1. Just to see if the front wing is coming out. The front wing is going to come out. Lucky High One and Janika coming together. Although trying to get past even Janika, dropping down. Oh, Janika is almost round. Is having an absolute nightmare. I'm not sure what happened to Janika on the lap. A bit of contact there between MCFC and Negan as well. It's a little bit of carnage in the midfield. Janika's still, well, Negan and AJ14 and also the Frosty One getting involved in this, in the uphill. The Williams down the inside, almost causing a bit of a collision there, but they've both got through the chicane fairly safely. Just going through, Mighty already tailed off. Chris is 1.2 seconds off the back of Mike, which is a sentence I don't think I'd ever say for any human being. We've got a yellow flag, and as soon as I said it, it went the other way straight away, and Mike went round, and he's down in the back. Boba with the fastest lap has already broke DRS to Stell in 2nd. That horse is flying, and it's flying quickly. Massacre is trying to go after the Greek, who's currently in the kick Sauber, not really able to keep up with the lead. Continue on, Lucky High One and Titchy Boom going side by side as they head down the hill through turn 3. And it looks like the Lucky High One has done a good move up in the 7th here and has managed to break a little bit of a gap, enough of a gap to realistically clear the Mercedes. MCFC half a second back on said Mercedes, so you would expect the Aston Martin to start closing down that kind of gap sooner rather than later, even on the harder tyres. AJ14 ahead of Puzemu in 12th now. It's right behind his own team. Well, his McLaren counterpart in 11th. The entire, well, second through 5th are in a little bit of a train at the moment. Those 4 just trying to go past each other as they can. Squirrel's got kicked up a little bit of dirt. You see his tyres were green for a split second there. Chris is now been overtaken by the Wicked Prophet, gets himself up into 16th here then. And it might be a pit stop here for the Frosty One on his ALR debut. It's not a good start. It looks like Titchy Boom is still ahead of MCFC, as just being stopped dead short as they go through turn 2. And now going to go the long way round of turn 3, extremely aggressively, but keeps the car in. And keeps himself ahead for now, still side by side as they head up the hill. Titchy's got the inside line, but MCFC is going to get a good run. Maybe gets himself a track limits in the process, but will take the track limits if he gets the position, which he did. Looks like D'Amico had picked up 3 seconds as well for track limits early on in this race. We've got a yellow flag, and it's a Ferrari that's round. It's Mike again. Wicken and Arctic are going side by side, or they were for a second, because I think there's yellow flags coming out, and these two are also having problems. The yellow flag now spanned the entire track. I'm not sure why. I don't think we are. Oh, we are in a VSC. There you go. That's why. Game not giving any indication that we were. We are, in fact, under virtual safety car conditions. Not sure what's happening at the front. Boba's giving up the entire gap. They look to try and get himself off early. 2.2 now ahead of Stell, and DRS has been enabled, so we're off and running again. Pit stop here for Wicked Profit then. Pit stop for Mike. But I believe might have actually been the reason that was called out. Mike gets 10 seconds of speed in the pit lane, so just kick him out while he's down while you're at it. Absolute nightmare for some of the drivers right now. MCFC round the back of Lucky High one. Williams is going to have to try and get some movement in at the moment. Otherwise, things are going to get a little bit rough for him with the Aston Martin. Massacre now outside of a second on Stell. He drops back in it just as I actually started speaking. Zamiku obviously well off the pace of the top 5, so we've got a little bit of a split in the group. We're only on lap 5 of 35. Looks like NCSC just a little bit off the back of the two we're currently watching. Wicked Profit and Frosty One not that far off the back of Mighty Chump at the back of the grid then. Those two off to a horrible start. Negan is also right behind Titchy Boom, so that might develop sooner rather than later. Lucky I won, dummying to the inside, and Zamiku might be beat here, or will he be? Kept his car on the inside, well, on technically the outside, the entire way through turn 3 and made it work. Not sure how he made that work. He kept the position as a result. I wonder if that's going to be the last little bit of an onslaught that Lucky High One had to bring at the Red Bull, to be honest with you. Group at the back, group at the front still separating themselves away. We've got a problem. It's Janika that's round. Janika is round. Prezema is round as well. And they're both off the track. No yellow, no safety car, no virtual safety car of any description. Both of them are not going to be too happy with the situation that just unfolded. I'm not sure who's at fault. We don't have replay. We're just going to have to wait until that gets brought to the stewards. Here comes Lucky High One again, trying to take the inside line on the Red Bull. This time, either a lot more fortunate or will he be? They head through turn 2. There is a racing bull. Nakuda is all over the place into turn 3, and the Red Bull is going to, well, benefit massively from it. Nakuda has dropped all the way to 8th. He might have problems now. He will have problems. He's got less of a front wing. Well, he's got no front wing left. Both end plates are gone. Had an absolute shunt. As the Frosty One has gone past Mighty Chump there at the back of the grid. Him and Wicked just starting to make their way back. Janika in 15th after what was a promising start. But Titchy there with Negan on the back of him. Three-way fight here with the Red Racing Bull in front of that. Kuza's had pace the entire time. He kind of made a mistake. And now he's under fire from Titchy, who's got him on the inside. Nakuda is struggling. That lack of a front wing or front wing end plates is going to hamper him the entire way. And in he comes for the pit stop. Didn't really have much of a choice. The car dictated that one for him. Here we go again for round 3 when it comes to Lucky High One. It looks like Lucky High One might finally have him. He finally has. Zamiku, who's put up an astonishing fight for the last couple of laps. Hasn't really been able to do much about it. Stella's dropped to 4th as well, by the way, in all of this. Stella in 4th, Yellow in 3rd, then Massacrator in 2nd. And Boba just casually 5 seconds off in the lead. Is going to take a commanding lead of the championship from the end of week 3. The strat here should be medium hard. I don't know roughly how long they go, though. That's the thing. I don't play a lot of F1. I just do the comms for it. Yellow still half a second behind the Racing Bull. Just dropping further and further off the back of Boba. Complete control of this race right now. I don't think he would be too scared even if a safety car was to be called. That would just drive off again. Miku is there with MCFC. He is well and truly not hanging on the back of Lucky High One right now, who's just started to drive off into the distance. On that Red Bull, here comes MCFC to the inside. And I think they've come together. They have come together. MCFC almost sliding the entire way through the corner, just about surviving. And Zamiku is still there. Still in 6th place for now. Yellow flag is set to 2. Is a Ferrari again. And it's Mike again. And it is a safety car that's come out. There is a safety car. The yellow car is sector 1. And we are under safety car conditions. I wonder how many people are going to elect to pit now. And Mike picks up another 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. There isn't a lot of overtaking happening, you are right. Boba into the pits then, Massacrator gonna follow him in. So does Yellow and Stella, and I can imagine everyone's following him in from here then. In comes Lucky High One. No, Stella got 10 for speeding! Stella got 10 for speeding in the pit lane. Don't forget that 7-second gap, that 8-second gap rather, that he currently has to Lucky High One, who is the next car up, will disappear entirely under the safety car. Everyone's coming in apart from MCSC, who was on the hards to start with, and Demiku, who's on the mediums for 9 laps at this point in time. Surprised he's not coming. Janika got 10 for speed in the pit lane. Everyone seems to be getting 10 for speed in the pit lane at the moment. Squirrel stayed out as well. That means that 3 people have not elected to go into the pits up to this point. Nakuta has not long since went on to hards in the first place, so elects to stay out once again. I don't think he's going to be able to pass those cars. Nope, he is not. And we'll have to stick behind Prezemu and Chris for a little while longer. Under the safety car conditions. And Wicked is staying out as well. Everyone else into the pits. Mike has currently been lapped. Mike has been lapped by the grid pretty much. Caught up in the safety car. Hasn't been able to pass it so far, so he's well and truly in trouble. Everyone's just starting to bunch back up again now then. So it'll be Boba from Zamiku from MCFC at the start of this one. Stell's just gone past. Stell gets 10 seconds for ignoring a yellow flag. And he jumps into the pits and picks up another 10. So he's on to 20 seconds worth of penalties now. And he pits again off the hard tyre. He'll serve the first 10 I can understand serving that penalty while we're in the pit lane. It'll be less of a problem, but the problem is he picks up 10 more in the process. It puts him out in 16th place after what was a great start to this race. Started second, was a second for a long time, dropped to 4th after, well, when Nakuza died as well, and then after that point it's been a comedy of errors. An absolute meltdown from Stell, to be honest with you. I am not entirely sure how Stell has managed all of this. But, that being said, one of the quickest drivers now sits himself in 16th on the grid. The safety car is in this lap then. They'll go a little bit further forward and we'll see when Boba is going to try and restart this race. Everyone is starting to hit each other there from second backwards. I think they're getting away that it's not penalties for doing so. I'm not entirely sure what 6 is doing right now. I think 6 has forgotten that you're actually meant to be in the same boat. It's actually 5th. It's Yarlo who's forgotten he's meant to be in and around the same place as the cars in front of him, as Boba has gone and got 1.5 straight away. As people are caught napping, Mike is stuck on the inside trying to get out of people's way, and Massacre gets NCSC off the jump. And now all he has Zamiku in his way. NCSC is going to play a bit of a thorn in the side of Yarlo. In particular, the Arctic Squirrel in the background. Kind of somewhat commanding the group from the group in the back of the field. Obviously, a Mike is 1 minute and 25 seconds back on the car in front. The blue flag starting raining the entire way of the way around the lap at this point. Everyone's right beside each other at the front of the grid. Massacre is right behind Zamiku. Then you've got NCFC and Yarlo all separated by less than a second. Mike is having a little bit more problems as well. I don't know who that car. It was in the background. I think that was Mike who just went off the track. It was Mike who just blasted himself off the track. Everyone else has gone by. Nakuta and Prezema are going through the second to last corner, and Nakuta is giving it back. I'm not entirely sure why. Nakuta now fighting Wicked Profit around the outside of the final corner. Zamiku and Massacre, those two are going back and forth. Everyone's going back and forth. Zamiku still hangs up ahead of that racing ball. How much longer is he going to stay? Massacre to the inside. They've come together. They've come together again. A little bit of contact as Zamiku tries to hang in there. Massacre trying to get more alongside to push the envelope, push the needle into a position where he has to make the move. Tichy gets past Arctic. And that move is on for 7th. He's getting right on the back of Arctic as well now. Arctic just dropping back quite heavily. That's a crate on the back of Zamiku still as well. About a tenth of a second between these two drivers. The Frosty one around. He gets his car back up and running straight away, so he'll not get anything out of it. So Stell got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, then pit again, serving that 10-second penalty, and then got another 10 seconds on top of the 10-second penalty. Did I say the word 10 second enough for you there? Let's hope. Here we go, Massacre on the inside with Yarlo following him through. I'm not sure why Massacre decided he had to go so deep. And Yarlo's going to pick them both off. We've got a yellow flag. Arctic is round. MCFC and Zamiku are fighting. And MCFC is round past as well, as Zamiku just had the floodgates opened on him. Arctic Squirrel all the way to the back of the grid, the people that isn't named Mike. That is not good news for him. Chris picks up 3 seconds for track limits. Mazda currently 8/10 of a second off the back of Yarlow, but once again, the 3 at the front have all started to drive off into the distance just a little bit. Yellow flag in sector 2, and we are 2 cars wide there. Janika into the wall again. I think it was wicked to go alongside him. Janika is out. That being there might bring out a safety car unless they can get that car moving. I think they're going to get away with it. Janika is out of the session. The first DNF we have all day. D'Amico into the pits then. Boba has a 7-second advantage to Yala, by the way. That's insurmountable, I reckon. I reckon that's fairly insurmountable. Here we go, Nakuza on AJ. Nakuza around the outside. Gets a bit lucky with that safety car because it saved his race just a little bit. After the damage he received 2 laps prior to that safety car, everything kind of just levels out. Everyone's made their pit stops, albeit they're going to be 2 up. Everyone's going to be 2 laps fresher than Nakuza's going to be the entire race. Just the price he's going to have to pay for the mistake he made. The entire rest of the front of the grid, all the way down to Stell, and 11th currently sits within DRS range from MCFC in 4th. Wicked Prophet has left the session. Wicked Prophet's got a bunch of issues. That's Mighty going past. That's not good for the Red Bull either. He's got a few... Oh. That's not good. That's definitely not good. So Massacrator left the session. He's our host. Oh, he crashed. Oh, it's restarted the entire session. Oh, no! Oh! Mike has apparently jumped all the way to the lead. Alright, well, I guess we're treating this as a... We're just casually going to treat this as a red flag, I think. Yep, AAA game is one way of doing it. That's the greatest saying that his game was the one that kicked it out. It was. Give me 1 second. See if I can get out. Let me see if I can get a hold of someone real quick. I want to see if people are in turn actually, if people are actually quitting out or not. Oh, we're apparently restarting the goddamn... I don't even know what's going on at this point. I don't even know what's going on at this point. Apparently we have a 7-second lap, boys. We have just had 7-second lap. The greatest lap of all time. Just trying to figure out what's going on. Let's see if people are trying to figure it. Let's see if people are actually trying to do it. Just trying to figure out what's going on. Sorry about everyone watching. I'm just frantically in the Discord chat right now, trying to figure out what is going on. I know, 10 viewers watching this. This is the most views we've had on F1 in a long time. I'm not gonna lie to you. Can someone help me go back on the stream and pull up the stream, the order when we crashed? Alright. We're going to be rerunning, well, we're not going to be running the entire race. We're going to run a 25% race in its position. I don't know what's going on again. I couldn't tell you what's going on at this point. So we're running a 25% race. The order in which it's going to happen is the order in which we were in terms of the actual grid itself. I may have to end the stream here. We're just watching the view of a guy who's not in the lobby drive around. This is great. I appreciate it. AAA game, eh, boys? There we go. All right, looks like we have streams. We have the ability to go through. Oh, God, this is a mess. Absolute mess. Alright, let's try this again then. I'll put myself in spectator, we'll go from the right hand side all over again. Looks like Nakuda might be the one hosting. Wait and see. Alright, we're just trying, yeah, it's Bubba Ed's lobby. He's just trying to invite people through. So let's see how many people I can help with this. We'll just go through and get as many people as we can. Was already in. Same as already in. Welcome back, everyone who is trying to enjoy a race. Oh, Yala's already in. I don't know why I sent him that. Lucky High One is in. Just trying to figure out who is and isn't in at the moment, so that I can send invites to people. The Miku is in as well. Anyone getting? It looks like Titchy's just going through. We're trying to get into the game, but it hasn't really happened. But yeah, everyone who had a penalty all of a sudden doesn't have a penalty anymore. That is the byproduct to this, I guess. Let's see if we can find as many people as we can. Alright, sorry about this, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day. Don't worry, he'll pit again and get out to film mode penalties. I'm trying to get as many people as we can. Now look at Caesar's name. If you didn't have me added on GT on F1, then yeah, or any EA game for that matter. It won't be in this list, will it? Oh, you're there. Daxi, you're literally there. You are literally there. I have 2 pages worth of friends. Try to find as much as possible. It's just been asking what's happening. Alright, there you go. This has been carnage. Absolute carnage. There you done. There you go. That's one. Trying to find other people that we actually had in to actually send the invite to. Negan's in. So it's Boba. Currently got 13. Alright. I'm going to bring the stream back up as much as I can. We are going to do 18 laps. So we are going to get treated to a little bit more laps than we would probably have got. Figure it out as go along. Titchy then, so that's another one. We've lost Janika because Janika had put himself, well, had been put in a wall. Mike's not racing, so that's 2 down. Where's my... Sorry again for everyone that is just watching us try and play Who's Online Simulator at the moment. A stealth invite. There's 2. That's 2 that I know of. We should be at 17. That would take us to 16. I don't know who the other guy is. Who's the other person we're missing? Trying to figure it out. I think there's 3 people are missing. Don't know if they're joining us again, though. Yeah, this has just been an absolute mess. Appreciate everyone that's just stuck around in this stream watching us try and figure this out. So I guess there's time to try and... It's Mighty Wicked and Stell. I figured it out. All right, I've got it queued up. We'll get going in a minute or two. Right, I've just told Boba to go. I've told Boba to go. We'll get probably about 18 laps worth of a race. They did have more than enough time. I am more than aware of how being in a video game where the race does not go your way works. Hell, if I wasn't aware of how that works, GT would be a thing in the past. I thought I'd say GT. I feel like everyone knows my GT record at this point. I've won 2 in 250. So yeah, it happens. But when it does happen, if people are telling you that you are moping too much, you should probably quit the moping. No. Iggy, Jesus Christ, how long have you been away? No. Daxi, we have eSports drivers in GT now. We've had somebody who did third in GT, actual eSports drive in GT eSports. Hell, we've had a world champion drive in eSports. Driving ALR for the eSports banner. In terms of the actual Monday leagues, no, there is 10 people currently signed up who can win a title on any given day. Yeah. I was about to say, this ain't 2023 anymore. We aren't in season 8. Iggy is coming back, actually. It's his first season back on Mondays in like 3 or 4 seasons, actually. So he's coming back. Viking's coming back. BX is still there. Yeah, then we've got the eSports lads are starting to join up. There's a couple of guys from Distinct that are going to be in Tier 1, potentially. Because everyone went to F1 23 and F1 24, and they went, yeah, this is a bad game. It kind of got better on this one, but it ain't got much better. Alright, we'll have another 17 laps or so on this one then. Yeah, we're just going through then at the moment. We'll just get going. Alright. It seems like F1 numbers are going great. That's not what I want to do. Just currently going through at the moment. Just trying to find the stream at this point as we go through the formation lap. Right, back to the... Right, I've got back to the stream. I can see everyone's comments again, and we can get going in a moment's time. It's going to be a pit stop in the 25% race. That's how it's going to be. It'll be a one stop now. It'll be medium versus medium to soft, apart from Nakuda, who decided to go to hard for some reason. Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's lights on and away we go again as we go on the restart. Tichy is up ahead of Lucky High One, up in the 5th, up in the 4th, ahead of MCFC. A great start for the Mercedes. And both the horses get away again. As we go down, Negan up in the 6th, down in the 7th. Nakuta's trying to go to the inside, does get to the inside. Lucky High One is plummeting like it's going out of fashion. Yellow flag is for Arctic Squirrel at the back of the grid. A little bit of contact between Lucky Eye and Nakuda there, but Nakuda still is alive. We continue on, the horses are still 1 and 2. Massacre in 3, MCFC in 4, Tichy in 5, Negan in 6, Nakuda in 7th, Lucky High 1 in 8th, from Fosty 1 in 9th, and then AJ in 10th, Krista in 11th, and then Zamiku getting past Zemu there. That's going to be an absolute nightmare to commentate on. As we continue forward, D'Amico's on soft tyres going after the Aston Martin in front of him at the moment. Looks like we are just trying to figure out whether or not D'Amico's got to move on for 11th here. He could have gone to the inside there. If he was a little bit more aggressive, he would have had the shot. We are separated into 2 separate groups at the moment, the front 4 and then everyone after the front 4. Tichy currently that bottleneck in the group, from Negan behind him. Arctic Squirrel into the pits already, not a great start for him. As we continue on. With the 2 horses still in advantage. 6 tenths of a second hour splits them. Boba's 7-second gap disappearing down the drain with the red flag. There's still a massive advantage from the front 4, with Tichy in 5th is definitely a bottleneck at this point. Arctic Squirrel in the pits, just came out of the pits onto hard tyres. Going to have a really rough time of the rest of this race without a safety car at the very least. The MCSC just dropped a second off the back of the front 3. Massacre has to keep on the toes with Yolo and Boba Fett before the horses just drive off into the distance. Zamiku, AJ, as far they're firing it out, and Zamiku gets himself up into 10th. into the top 10. Don't forget the top 10 is all that gets points. Everything below that point doesn't score. Past that point doesn't count anymore. It doesn't, much like it doesn't count in F1 standings either. We got Frosty One just outside of the second and Lucky High One. Zemu's gone past Chris, and Chris in the Aston Martin is faltering to the back of everyone not named Arctic Squirrel, who's got a really poor restart. Negan on Tichy, Negan on the outside. We've seen that outside be powerful quite heavily today, but it isn't going to be powerful enough there with Tichy hanging on for dear life. As Tichy stays in 5th for now, Nakuza is right on the back of Negan now. So Negan needs to get past Tichy and start to build a little bit of a gap. The front 4 well and truly clear. You even say the front 3 at this point, 1.7 seconds ahead of MCFC, who's just dropping off the back of the front pack. Frosty One, the other one outside of the DRS range. So Nakuza and Negan, as we just saw there, Nakuza on the inside. And the Racing Bull gets past the Alpine. Nakuza just out in front there. On the hard tyre, don't forget everyone has to make a pit stop at some point. Massacrator is now outside of the DRS range, which is not good news for the Racing Bull, because that'll just allow for the Haasers to drive off into the distance. Yarlo's got a really good run at Boba here. Don't forget, if Boba Boba wins this race, he will take a championship lead of at least 25 points into the Christmas break. Continue on, Yarlo, 0.03 of a second, slower than his fastest lap up to this point. 0.6 of a second behind Boba in this one as we head towards almost the quarter point of this race as we go through lap 4. Couple of cars back, Massacre 1.3, MCFC has dropped well off the back with Tichy almost an identical distance behind him, as Tichy is still the bottleneck for the entire group in the back, in the middle of the field. 4 cars separated by over about 1.5 seconds in this one, back to Lucky High One in 8th. Wonder if there's going to be anyone dangerous enough to try and make a move at some point here. Don't forget, safety cars and search still exists in the 25% mark, so there is still a chance of a safety car bringing everyone back together. Arctic Squirrel 30 seconds off the back of the entire grid. Chris is well off the back as well. Nakuza looking to go past Tichy. Gets it wrong to start with. They've come together on the exit of turn 1. And they go through 2. Nakuza is still there. Still alongside. The long way round. On the hards. It is actually ahead of Tichy now as they came together again in the middle of turn 3. So Nakuza is past and now he has to go straight after MCFC. And after a tragic mistake early on in the race earlier on, he has got a lifeline. Puts himself back in the top 5. Gives himself an opportunity. Top 4 finish now. Tichy is still there. The following line is a lot better than being out on your own by the looks of things. Negan is there as well with Lucky High One and then Frosty 1.7 in the back there. You can see on the screen, Zamiku is trying to hunt him down on the soft tyres at this point in time. And you got AJ after that. Those 3 not that far away from each other, just over a second and separate 9th through 11th. The last couple of points are going to be very interesting at the end of this race. Yarlo 0.3 of a second off the back of the Boba at the front of the group. Just not going to be, just too much away. Tichy looks for a move down the inside, but I think he sold too much. He went too deep, but Nakuza hangs on. Staying in 5th for now, not really got any help. Just got to survive his way through this. And now it's open a 7/10 of a second gap. So the advantage is just starting to creep up. That'll put Negan in perfect position to try and overtake Tichy. 5/10 of a second, a lucky high one after that. D'Amico seems to be the bottleneck now in 10th. The Frosty one's got away just a little bit. So it's AJ after that. And Presumu as well. I wonder how that one plays out for the final point spot at this point. Massacrator into the pits then. The Massacrator is into the pits early on. You have to hope that doesn't backfire. He is going to go for a little bit of an undercut. In comes D'Amico as well. Negan trying to go after Tichy. Doesn't get it here. Nikuzo on MCFC. Caught up really quickly. And caught him all the way in turn 1. Up in a third now then. Don't forget, don't technically have to pit because they're all on tyres that they've not used, but at the same time, they aren't going to make it to the end, so with all that being said, they will have to pit at some point. That's what Massacrator is kind of banking on, just trying to get as much as he can for as long as he can in terms of the free air to just drive his laps. Potentially undercut the top 2. NCFC has been dropped over a second now behind the cruiser. Is flying. Tichy still ahead of Negan, and then Lucky High one after that. The group at the back are just starting to separate a little bit. AJ14 has caught up to the back of Frosty One. In comes Yarlo then. Well, this is going to be interesting. Yarlo undercutting Boba. In comes Negan, in comes MCFC. So all the guys second in this train are just starting to maybe force an issue here. Negan gets 10 seconds of speed in the pitway line. And that's gonna hamper his race quite severely. That's going to be a real problem for Negan then. As you go through, there's yellow flag in sector 1. I'm not sure who it is that caused it. It might have been Massacrator, you know. Not sure. So Massacrator is Yarlo. And he goes up to the back of Presumu now. He's going to have to get by him. He's going to have to get by him quickly. Massacrator 2.1 seconds off the back. I still don't actually know who brought out that yellow flag. Either way, it doesn't look like it's done too much damage around the outside. Goes Yarlo! Oh, and he caught Presumu on the way through! And somehow the Alpine survives. Massacrator gets on through without much problems. I think Yarlo got held up rather heavily in that lap. And both the hard tyre drivers have gone past. Up in the 7th and 8th, and now they've got people pitting in front of him. Tichy's pit, Bobra has pit. Nakusa has hit the lead of this race then. 4 drivers have stayed out up to this point. I think Presumu and Chris is going to stay out as well. And there you go. Yarlo is in the lead of the race. I could not have got any better if it tried. But Nikita in particular. Boba, who could have taken a 25-point lead, an entire race lead coming into the Christmas break, just surrendered his lead to Yarlo and has to now overtake. Massacrator is involved all over again within the second. So it's a 3-way fight for the lead all over again. Well, forward AJ's got 4/10 of a second of Frosty One as he is just starting to get himself involved in that fight. You can see it actually, it's on the front of our screen. Yarlo and Boba are just starting to get themselves close enough to each other. Chris has been overtaken by Negan after Negan's pit stop. Here we go. Again. AJ again rounded by Yarlo. And Yarlo's going to create himself a little bit of a gap. A little bit of an opportunity. That couldn't have gone much better if it tried. Boba is under threat. Massacrator and Boba are both going to blast on by the McLaren. Luckily though for Yarlo, he's given himself a little bit of breathing room. AJ didn't put up a lot of fight, however. Yolo now needs to get past Frosty One, and he needs to get past him quickly. That Williams is going to be the thorn in the side of the horse by the looks of things. Tichy is ahead of Zamiku now. Yolo has got past Frosty One, but Frosty One has gone so deep that Boba and Massacre just go through without any fight. It was effortless. And Frosty One now has to defend heavily from AJ behind him. As soon as Yolo makes a move, the guy he makes a move on makes a mistake, and the two behind just drift on through. Like it's nobody's business, so no gap has been opened up here by Yolo whatsoever. He does have about 8 laps to hold on. It looks like Yakuza's pitting out as well, so in comes the Racing Bull. Should be a lot closer to the front than he thinks he is, or is he? Frosty on and AJ stay out again, with Lucky High One still out on the track as well. AJ's off the track. He's off the track. I'm not sure what happened there, but he isn't on the track. He kicked up a lot of grass, and the Frosty One is going to drive off into the distance. Lucky High One is getting charged down by the 3 behind him. 4 drivers yet to pit. Chris dropped to the back then. His day goes from bad to worse. Tichy also in 12th place, needs to find his way back past the Miku. Before things become problematic for him. Everyone else is outside of the DRS range apart from this triplet, who is caught all the way up to the back of Lucky High One, who struggled on the lap. I reckon if this might be the one that Lucky High One comes in, and it is going to be, but DRS is going to be one for Yolo, because he got close enough just in time before the DRS zone. So here we go. Yolo is going to keep himself ahead, probably one more lap. Frosty One gets 10 seconds of speed in the pit lane. All 4 of the drivers who hadn't pitted now pit on this lap. There's penalty for Negan, penalty for Frosty One. Both of them 10 seconds, so everyone else is going to gain at an alarming rate on the drivers in front. Zamiku has just gone by. There you go, there's Zamiku and Tichy up in the 7th and 8th respectively. Imagine the soft tires is just going to blow by them. However, in the next lap or two, Lucky High One looking already, trying to go around the outside, look to the inside, just couldn't get anything going, kicked up a little bit of debris there. He's just going to have to be stuck behind Tichy. As he has, or is he? Oh, he doesn't go for it there. He almost signaled for that one. Almost telegraphed it, but maybe telegraphed it a little bit too much, as Tichy was not willing to give it up. Front 3 all separated by just over a second. The group we're currently watching just separated by over a second. Not even a second in this 3 anymore. Don't forget, Lucky High One is on the soft, Tichy is on the hard, Zamiku on the mediums. All 3 of them on different sets of tyres. And again, Lucky High One just not able to force any issues. Tichy is just pointing his car exactly where his car needs to be to stop him from being overtaken. All the guys in the back, all the last 6 are all on softs. And they try to force something from the back of the grid. It doesn't happen here for Tichy at all. And Tichy in the back of the Miku. And lost the front wing plate. Oh, he lost his left front, his right front end plate. And I think Lucky High One behind him may have just lost it as well. He has. And all of a sudden, Zamiku is in dreamland. Wow. Damage to both of them. As we go through, we're not having much of a 3-way fight at the front. you say that 0.6 of a second. These guys have quite literally been at each other's, well, at the same distance to each other the entire time. Hence why we won the other battle, which actually had some action in it. No one has really forced the issue in this one whatsoever. Massacrator has now dropped off the pack, and this will actually force the one-on-one between the two horses. So this is a good thing. This is where the battles will start to happen at the front. Instead of the three-way fight, which could have, we were just slowing down second place just a little bit. We're now one-on-one. Boba is going to go after Yarlo the entire way to the line now. I wonder how well Yarlo can handle it. Don't forget, Yarlo is the reigning champion, so it's just a case of how quickly, how much can he handle this. .6 of a second is the advantage right now. Don't forget, going further back, Tichy and Lucky High One both have damage. And Zamiku, sorry. Don't know what I was trying to say. Zamiku doesn't. Tichy just going a little bit wide. Here comes Fight Back straight away, trying to dummy underneath for Tichy. For Lucky High One, it just doesn't happen. These two still fighting out at the front. Yarlo still have the advantage. Yarlo still realistically keeping things as tight as he possibly can. The gap still 0.6 of a second as we head on to lap 15 of 18. So 4 to go. That is all Yarlo has to survive to be on for his first race win of the season. Be our third different winner in 3 races. Nikita won race 1. Boba won in the States. And back, well, in Hungary, Yarlo looks to take control. Would be a statement win, that's for certain. The statement that the champion isn't isn't out of it yet. We'll see if he can last past Boba here, just to get himself on the board in terms of winning a race, gaining 7 points closer to the title. Half a second at the moment, advantage in favour of Yarlo. It's going to be close the entire way. Lucky High One finally has got past Tichy for 8th place. Amiku is the next one up for both drivers, but the damage is going to hamper them the entire way. Don't forget, Negan has a 10-second time penalty. That's going to be a complete mute point because he's 11 seconds ahead of 7th place, which is impressive in its own right. 5th and 6th, half a second split them as well. Won't really matter come the end of this because he's not really going to gain a 10-second advantage to MCSC. Boba, the long way round. Nothing going. Nothing going there for Boba. And he's just going to sit behind another lap longer. They'll be on to, well, he'll have 2 more shots realistically at this. That's all he's going to get. Yarlo realistically needs to survive 2 more times into turn 3. And he will be crowned the winner of this race. That's all that's all he needs to do. He is currently up by 0.4 of a second. Something is happening in the midfield. We've got AJ and Frosty 1 down toward turn 2. Down through turn 2 into turn 3, still side by side. Oh, and Frosty 1 is wide. They're round. AJ and him came together, presumably has gone through. Lucky High One has gone past Miku as he loses out. Lucky High One's going to have to put on something special with the damage to catch up to Negan at this point. We are now developing just little pockets of fights as Nakuza is going to go after Massacrator at the end of this race as well. After all this, the mistake earlier on, Nakuza is about to steal a bottom step of the podium. Boba, the long way round, again on Yarlo. Again, nothing is going to stick. Yarlo with a fantastic exit to block him off as soon as he could. There is no way round for Boba at all. And Yarlo has to survive 1 more time. Boba's got all the battery he wants. He can burn it as much as he wants. 20% more than Yarlo at the moment. Yarlo's just sitting in to try and defend. Nakuza has got 1 more shot as well at Massacre at the end of the next lap. Zamiku versus Tichy. Tichy's front wing damage is not doing him any favours, but the inside he goes! Oh, straight to the side of D'Amico. But Tichy is ahead. Contact on the way through, quite definitely. The sparks were flying. The Merc is ahead of the Red Bull. Oh, D'Amico picks up 3 more. Well, actually, I don't think he picked up 3 more. He had penalty. Yeah, he had 10 seconds earlier on, but he doesn't have 10 seconds now. That will mean that Tichy will get that position for certain. It's a question of whether or not now will AJ get it. And will Presumu get it as well. As we go through, down towards turn 1. This is going to be Boba's last shot. This is going to be the last, literal last dash he's got at this. And Yolo covers him off again. Yolo has executed that perfectly. What a defensive move that is. The angle, the everything. And Boba is running out of clock. He's running out of tarmac. And he's running out of chance to win. Going for the back-to-back, but he has been stopped by his Haas counterpart. Yolo has been perfect on this second stint after the red flag. And Boba has had absolutely no way by. The undercut worked to perfection early on. We have his yellow flag. I think that is going to be Presumu. That's the yellow flag. It is. It's also the frosty one wound again. As you go down the hill. Yolo, 3/10 of a second, quarter of a second. There's literally one more corner in it. There's going to have to be one hell of a late lunge here from Boba. Otherwise, he's just going to have to settle for second. And I think it's going to be the latter. Because Yolo defended with all his might. And defended himself into a win. As he wins in Hungary. Boba gets second. Massacrator just about hangs on for third in the end. Nakuta probably happy with the fourth. MCSC will get fifth because of Negan's penalty. I think he's going to beat him on track as well. MCSC, yep, will take fifth. But Sean, Negan just about survived in the end there. We got round the corner with Lucky High one. With all the front wing damage still on the car, but he will get himself ahead. And end in 7th, Tichy in 8th. D'Amico in 9th. AJ gets him. So AJ in 9th, D'Amico in 10th. Presumu too far back after the incident with Frosty 1 to really do anything there. So Presumu in 11th, Frosty 1 in 12th. Chris is going to drive over the line at the back of the grid here in 13th with Arctic Squirrel after that. We'll go to Arctic Squirrel and then that'll be the end. Well, that will be the end of the race here. And finally, after the period of 2 whole hours, we finally have an actual grid order at the end of an actual race in F1. That is how we end the calendar year of 2025 in F1. And the Haas on top. But it's not the Ukrainian, it's the Dutchman. The reigning champion ends the year on top of the podium. Not on top of the championship. That is definitely an honour bestowed on the Ukrainian on the second step. Boba will lead the championship into 2026. But Yolo has a statement of intent. That being said, there you go. That's your 14. And how they ended. But that is everything you've got, everything I've got for you guys today. I will see you guys in the year. Well, if you want to watch GT, there is a race on Monday night. I will be commentating that one with Ross. If you don't want to watch GT for whatever reason, I will see you in the year 2026. Peace.